Hey guys, TheRick here, bringing you another one-on-one with TheRick. And today we have a very special guest. We have none other than Jessica of Green Mountain Goldfish. Glad to have you on the show.
Hey Rick, thanks so much for having me. It's really great to be here.
So my first question, everyone gets this. How long have you been in the hobby and what do you love most about it?
So I've been seriously in the hobby for about 4 years now. And I say seriously because I did have fish growing up. My dad did keep fish. He had a big discus tank when I was growing up. And then I always had a smaller, guppy tank or something like that. But it was only about 4 years ago that I really got interested in learning about fish keeping as a hobby and, doing a little bit more than just throwing some flakes in and doing my water changes. So it's been a really fun change, I guess. And the thing that I love most about this hobby is that there's always something to learn, that there's always something new. Once you feel like you've gotten one part of it down, there's always something different to start researching and learning about. Once you've figured out how to keep fish alive, then you can always go on to plants. And once you've figured out how to keep plants alive, you can start looking into, doing a high-tech tank and aquascaping and all that sort of stuff. So, there's just so many different kind of avenues you can go with this hobby, and you can make it as involved and complicated as you want, or as relaxed and hands-off as you want. So there's just it's a really fun hobby and lots of really awesome people in it.
I have to ask, what is it about goldfish that makes you love them so much?
So the thing that I love the most about goldfish and what really attracted me to them was that they have so much personality. So they recognize when I come up to the tank and they'll eat out of my fingers, and they just do funny stuff. They're like big bumbling animals. They're silly and tons of personality, and just more so than any other fish I've kept. So I really love them for that. I also think that they're very beautiful, especially the fancy varieties. The colors, the tail, all that sort of stuff is, I just think they're gorgeous fish in general. And then the third reason that I really love goldfish, and this is kind of a big one, is that they're such the underdog of the fish world. They're so underrated, basically, by most fish keepers. And there's so many misconceptions out there about goldfish that it's really fun to be able to help educate other people who have these misconceptions, and to show people that goldfish can be more than just a feeder fish or a beginner fish in a bowl, that sort of thing. That they're really beautiful fish and worth keeping. So yeah, those are my favorite thing about goldfish.
Now, what are some tips you would give someone who wants to get into keeping goldfish?
So the tips that I would give to anyone thinking about getting a goldfish or starting out in the hobby is really making sure that you do your research before you jump in. So many of us have made the mistake of, and myself included, made the mistake of just jumping into this hobby thinking that, what does a fish need more than, a little tank, some water, and that's it, some food. But, there's a lot more to keeping goldfish than you might think, and one of the most important things is making sure you have the right tank size. They do grow large and they do produce a lot of waste. They do need a good amount of water volume, so making sure that you start off with at least 20 gallons per fish is ideal. That'll keep a juvenile fish pretty happy for a little while. As you can see, my two are in a 75 gallon at this point because they have outgrown their 20 gallons per fish. So you can get the right tank size, but you may have to upgrade eventually. Filtration is also really important with goldfish. As I said, they're big waste producers. They eat a lot, they poop a lot, they produce a lot of waste. So making sure that you have good filtration, and we typically recommend about 10 times gallons per hour turnover of the tank volume. So if I have a 75 gallon, making sure that you have about 750 GPH going with your filters is really important, just to make sure that the water quality stays good for them and you have nice clear water like I have here. And the one last thing that I would suggest to people just starting off with goldfish is making sure that you get involved with the community. Coco's Goldfish Forum is one of my favorite forums in terms of goldfish. Lots of knowledgeable people there, so it's always good to have other people who are experienced in the hobby to bounce ideas off of and just, get input from if you have any questions or anything like that. It's always good to reach out to your fellow fish keepers.
Now, what do you like to do in your spare time besides fish keeping?
So other than fish keeping, what do I do? Nothing? Fish keeping is honestly my biggest hobby right now and kind of the thing that I obsess over the most. If I'm not actually having my hands in the tank, I'm usually online on a forum or a Facebook group related to fish keeping, chatting with people. So yeah, I don't know, fish keeping is kind of my biggest thing. I live in Vermont. I do like to get out and do some hiking. We have great hiking trails here, so I do like to get outside once in a while. In my real life, I'm a pediatric speech-language pathologist, and I work with little people, about 2-year-olds typically, so I like to say that I get to play all day pretty much. So that's kind of my life outside of fish keeping. Not a hobby, but that is what I do for work.
Now, besides goldfish, you have nice planted tanks as well. Do you find them fun or challenging?
So yeah, I have been really interested in keeping planted tanks lately. It's been kind of a fun evolution in my hobby. I went from just kind of obsessing about goldfish to my hobby has really expanded to keeping plants and doing some aquascaping and that sort of thing. So I do have a 40-gallon behind me here, and underneath that is a 20-gallon long, both planted, and both are high-tech tanks, so it's been really fun to learn about CO2 and FERTs and lighting and all that sort of stuff. And it's certainly challenging to keep a planted tank. I think I have figured out the actually keeping the plants alive part, and now I'm kind of starting to learn more about the aquascaping part and really creating something that's aesthetically pleasing and not just plants that are alive in a tank. It's certainly challenging, especially with high-tech tanks. If I forget to dose my FERTs or, I forget that the CO2 has run out and don't replace it right away, I get fun blackbeard algae, which is, it's just one of those things, and it's another thing to learn about and to problem solve. And so yeah, it's been really great, and I hope to keep developing those skills. That's kind of where my hobby is headed right now, is really doing a lot more with aquascaping and plants.
And finally, my last question is, any plans, projects, or series coming to your channel we can expect to see in the near future?
So in terms of new things going on with my channel or new projects, I unfortunately am moving. I wish I had better news for you, Rick. I'm moving on March 1st, and so all these tanks are actually in the process right now of getting torn down. As you saw, my goldfish tank was bare bottom earlier in this video. It isn't usually. I have basically stripped it so that I can be ready to sell it. My goldfish are getting rehomed, and all these tanks are getting sold because I'm moving across the country and I can't take them with me right now. I'm going to be in San Diego for a while with my mom, and then who knows where I'll be from there. So, my life is just really in flux right now, and unfortunately that means no real new projects, and I'm actually going to be a little bit on hold for a little while. I'm hoping to still get some videos up, even if I don't have tanks going. I am hoping to maybe have like one small little planted tank going so that I can at least entertain myself, or do some really tiny, the little pico, however you pronounce that, tanks, the really small ones. So I have some little projects that I'm hoping to keep busy with and hoping to still do some videos here and there. But it's going to be a little while before I'm fully back up and running with my hobby, unfortunately.
Alright, Jessica, really appreciate you taking the time to do this video with me.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Rick. It's been really fun to chat with you. I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to share some of the stuff that I have going on over here. And yeah, thank you so much again for having me.
Alright guys, it's been another one-on-one with TheRick. If you have a suggestion for another one-on-one, please leave it in the comments below. And as always, rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.